In the last top 10 video, we've featured 4 weapons commonly referred to as 3-tap weapons: the AK-47, the Man of War, the DRH, and the EM2. And in the comments, many were asking for details or comparison in general between them, and that's what we're going to see today. But in reality, we have 6 3-tap weapons in the game right now, the other 2 being the HVK-30 and the ASM-10. For obvious reason, we're not going to include the HVK-30, which is way too broken, but we're going to include the ASM-10, which, even if it's not in the top 10 list, is a solid gun and will bring some competition in this comparison. Talking about a gun without attachments is meaningless, so we're going to use these builds. As always, if the iron sight isn't somewhat clear with the base weapon, we use a red dot. We don't really care about using visible lasers, but on most builds you can switch it for a granulated grip tape, and for practical reasons, we're going to be using the largest mag available. Now that we're all set, let's dive into it. We're going to be comparing them over these criteria. When it comes to these weapons, one key question is, how far can it 3-tap without headshots? We've visualized this for you. The ASM-10 has the shortest 3-tap range, the DRH has the longest. However, to be realistic, in the last potential 3-tap range on the DRH, you need 2 shots to the chest or upper arms to get a 3-tap. These areas are covered by the lower arms, so hitting them can be challenging. Therefore, getting a 3-tap in that range is pretty rare. So, who's our winner? It's the EM2 with its 37 meters of 3-tap. Looking at these weapons, we can categorize them into 3 groups. The ASM-10, which has a very limited 3-tap range, the Man of War with the AK-47, which have decent range, and in the third group we have the DRH and the EM2, which have an exceptionally good range. Moving over to consistency, again we can divide them into 3 groups. Group 1 is fully consistent. This category includes the ASM-10 and the Man of War. 2 key points emerge from this. The Man of War is the best choice for beginners due to its consistency. The ASM-10, thanks to its consistency, can be very powerful. It can be used effectively in close range as an anti-SMG weapon. For the second group, we have the never consistent. This group includes the AK-47 and the DRH. For these two, you need to hit the right hitbox at least once to get a 3-tap. For the AK-47, no matter the range, you need 1 chest, arms, or headshot to get a 3-tap, which isn't that hard. For the DRH, there are many combinations and range drops. For the last group, we have just the EM2. It's fully consistent up to 20 meters. Beyond that, you need 1 chest, arms, or headshot to get a 3-tap up to 37 meters. Now that we know that, here's a visual representation of what we can consider as a consistent 3-tap range. And by the way, I'm not even talking about time to kill because the difference is so low that the fire rate honestly doesn't matter. Some will feel slower, and some will feel faster, but in practice, unless you are a T1 against T1, the difference won't make you win or lose a gunfight. Okay, so now that we've figured that out, let's just talk about headshots really quickly. The AK-47, EM2, DRH, and Man of War can all achieve a 2-shot kill in their first range if both shots hit the head. Most importantly, landing a headshot with the Man of War can extend the 3-shot kill range up to 57 meters, which is impressive. Even though it might seem unlikely, it happens more often than you'd expect. Now that we're done with damages, let's talk about mobility. The worst one by far is the DRH. It has the lowest strafe and movement speed in general, and the slowest ADS speed. Then a bit better, we got the Man of War. It has similar movement speed but way better ADS speed. Then we got the AK-47 with slightly better strafe but has an ADS speed between the Man of War and the DRH. Then we have the EM2 with the fastest strafe speed among all 5, but it has a slow ADS speed of 278 milliseconds. And lastly, the anti-SMG, that is the ASM-10, with a super fast ADS time with 225 milliseconds and a decent strafe speed. Again, here's a graph to help you visualize the difference between them. Finally, let's discuss the general handling of these weapons. We'll consider factors such as mag size, necessary ammo management, recoil, BSA, and overall shake while shooting. For the DRH, this weapon has the most unpredictable, or rather erratic recoil pattern among all 5. It also has one of the worst flinch values at 0.69. AK-47 and ASM-10 both have a flinch value of about 0.75, which is slightly worse than the DRH. However, their recoil is incredibly easy to control, with the pattern going only straight up. For the Man of War, this weapon has a flinch value of 0.42. Its recoil climbs quite quickly but at a steady pace, and always in the same direction. For the EM2, this weapon has a similar recoil pattern to the Man of War, but it climbs way slower. It has a decent flinch value of 0.6. For the bullet spread accuracy, apart from the ASM-10, which has a high BSA that might cause trouble after 40 meters due to its slow fire rate, and the Man of War, which is so accurate that you could beam even at 80 meters, all the weapons are good enough to fight up to about 60 meters. Moving on to mag size, we're using slow fire rate weapons, so when we have, for example, 50 bullets in a Grau mag, it takes us 4 seconds to empty it entirely. To match that, most of the weapons here would only need about 35 bullets. Here's the breakdown. Comparing these values with the actual mag sizes, we find that the DRH is 8 under, the AK-47 is 14 over, the ASM-10 is 4 over, the EM2 is 5 over, and the Man of War is 5 over. Although the DRH has the smallest mag, it has a really quick reload speed of about 1.1 seconds, which somewhat compensates for the smaller mag size. The other 4 have a slower reload speed of around 1.3 to 1.6 seconds, but the large mag size overcompensates for this, which by the way is pretty standard for ARs. Now in terms of comfort, which one has the most aim shake or screen shake? Well, here the EM2 and the Man of War are the two which feels the most steady. The ASM-10 feels like it's shooting DLQ bullets, and the AK-47 and DRH have quite a lot of aim shake too. But they're similar if you have the free legendary DRH. I'm sorry, but the aim shake is the same as on the base version. To conclude, let's summarize our thoughts on these 3 tap weapons. ASM-10. This is the best weapon to use as an anti-SMG due to its ability to 3-shot in the legs, its quick ADS speed, and decent mobility. It has the shortest 3-tap range, making it ideal for close-range combat. The remaining 4 weapons are pretty much meant to be used in the same way. Here's how they rank. The AK-47 comes last due to its limited range and not so great hitbox. However, it's still a good gun, especially for beginners, thanks to its large mag and minimal recoil. The Man of War is similar to the AK-47 but with a better hitbox. It's the only one that can extend its 3-tap range significantly with just 1 headshot. Definitely worth trying if you're somewhat consistent with headshots. Next up, the DRH has a more limited 3-tap range and its consistency is quite poor compared to the EM2. Its other performances are also below par. The only saving grace is that you can get a 3-tap up to 40 meters if you're good, but that's not consistent unless you have really good aim. And the EM2 comes out on top. It has the best 3-tap range, the best consistency up to that range, and overall great performance aside from the range performance. Which one do you prefer? Let me know down in the comments below. These weapons are the best if you have great aim, and here's what you can do to get more kills with less movement right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.